this. We up.
Welcome to the State of Hockey podcast, featuring Justin Jelnick and Joe Hayford. Let's talk hockey.
Welcome to the State of Hockey podcast. This is episode 21, edition for Tuesday, October 20th, 2015. I am Justin Jelnick from the State of Hockey blog, along with my co-host, also from the State of Hockey blog, Mr. Joe Hayford. Joe, how are you?
I am recovering from a rough week of wild hockey.
Yeah. You know, realignment was supposed to put a stop to these trips, right?
Yeah. Yeah, except for when, you're East heavy like we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. And, yeah, I was kind of thrown on tilt. I might have even mentioned this on Twitter Thursday. But, Arizona's actually still 2 hours behind us because they don't observe daylight savings time, which is awesome for the record if I can get on my personal soapbox. But it also means, 9 o'clock start. Instead of 8.
It's like the one cool thing about Arizona.
That's pretty punny when you really think about it. Yeah, cool. Desert, fine. So, Joe and I both had pretty low predictions last week for the West Coast road trip, and they probably exceeded our expectations, getting 3 points from 6, even though it doesn't seem like anybody's thrilled with how the Wild have started, despite the 3-1-1 start.
I don't think anyone's thrilled, and if you are, you're obviously not watching the games. You're looking at the stats.
Yeah.
3-1-1, 7 points. Honestly, we're lucky to have any points. We very easily be the Columbus Blue Jackets at this point in time.
Wow. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, they've had good spurts, but they've had bad moments in every game to date so far. And I guess if we start our week in review, we'll start with Thursday's game at Arizona. And because I'm getting old, I only watched the first 2 periods of this game, and I guess those were the good 2 periods. But it sounds like this game was very much a carbon copy of the game they played Saturday night before in St. Paul against St. Louis for their home opener.
Yeah, I did watch the highlights. I did not get a chance to watch the game either.
Mm-hmm.
Being an adult and everything, I had a bedtime. But it looked like we played a strong 2 periods. It looked like we kind of fell apart there at the end, which is kind of a common theme here. And actually, finally, Yo alluded to playing a full 60 minutes. And it seemed to do something with the Wild. So we'll see how that translates into the ice, but.
Parise got the scoring going in the first with a good power play goal. Power play has actually been decent this year. They had a power play goal in every game to that point. So Parise, Palmville, and Suter in on that one, and then Vanek about a minute later got his second and his real life, honest to goodness, 400th career goal. Or 300th. Did I give him an extra 100?
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, sorry. I'll stop that. Koivu put a brilliant shorthanded goal in the second after a great hustle play by Jason Zucker, and so they went up 3-0. Arizona started chipping back. They got one back about 5 minutes later from Anthony Duclair to pull the 3-1. Granlund put him right back up about 22 seconds later to make it 4-1. Domi got another one 4-2 with 10 to go in the second. And then late in the third, I guess they got back within 1 after I went to sleep, and it sounds like they got outshot horribly again, but still managed to hold on for the 4-3 win.
Yeah, it seems like they play opposite of each other. Either the team's playing well or Dubnyk's playing well. It never is.
Yeah.
Never is coinciding.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment. But the goaltending should not be overlooked in this one because this was a Kemper start, and I think he looks really good. Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong.
No, you are right. Yeah, I was going to say you're wrong.
We got to flip to the next game to get a Kemper start.
Yes.
Yeah, this was a Dubnyk start. He was pretty good, too. He got 27 to 30 in this one. So.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean,
that's better than numbers he turned in the first couple games. So, yeah, because he's still actually under 900 on the season right now. But
Yeah, I think he now is at 888.
So not the best start, but they're still fortunate to be winning games. So I watched
Yes.
one period of LA and Minnesota on Friday night, and this was a Kemper start, and I thought he was really good.
I thought Kemper was absolutely phenomenal in this game.
I think it's good that this is a game that'll get him some confidence, and because I think he's going to be called on 20-25 times this year and not put on the bench for half a season like what happened to him last year.
Yeah, he was all over the place. He was the Kemper of early last year.
And in fairness, I'd say late last year too. I've been saying I thought his couple appearances toward the end were good.
Oh yeah, I agree as well.
So,
yeah, let's just.
The good Kemper's in there, but I mean,
he looked like a number one goaltender again.
Obviously, Dubnyk's contract means he's ultimately going to be traded.
Yes.
And
Yes, it does. But did you hear the news? Maybe we should get to this a little bit later.
I did not hear the news, but okay, we'll put that back.
Backstrom says he's healthy.
Ooh, that's good news.
He's open to a trade.
Yes. I figured that had to be coming somewhere along the way. And I guess it sounds like Buffalo might be desperate for goaltenders too. So
hey, maybe we can trade him even up for Ennis.
Maybe so. That would be helpful. Buffalo, yes. We can trade with them whenever. So
they are the Minnesota Wild's farm system.
In a sense, well, they need one because Iowa's terrible. But
yeah, that's why we have the Sabres.
Indeed. Well, back on LA and Minnesota, Toffoli gets the goal for the Kings early in the second. Koivu gets one back in the third, and then the first ever 3-on-3 overtime in the history of the Minnesota Wild ends up ending on a Anze Kopitar goal for the Kings. Wild salvage a point that they were probably lucky to get at all. But the Kings won that one 2-1. And you actually watched the 3-on-3 overtime for yourself Friday night. What were some of your thoughts on that, Joe?
3-on-3 overtime. Well, my bottom line is Mike Yeo was not prepared for it. Either way, the team wasn't prepared for it, which is on Mike Yeo. Horrible changes. There was no strategy whatsoever. It was like a game of pickup hockey, just guys flying around out there. LA obviously had a game plan. Jonathan Quick was playing the puck and keeping things alive, getting the goaltender in on the action. I mean, Darcy Kemper kind of got in the action as well. Came out, played the puck, and made a nice little deke around one of the Kings forecheckers. But, LA obviously had a game plan. Minnesota did not, and that kind of is what showed up on the score sheet, and that's why LA got an extra point.
Indeed. So, LA outshot the Wild 37-26 overall in this game. It sounds like they carried the offense and had the better of the play overall. But the results aside, in general, are you excited for seeing 3-on-3 being the new norm?
I guess it is definitely an exciting thing to watch. It kind of doesn't. It doesn't do it for me as a defensive-minded person.
Right.
It's definitely exciting to watch, and I think it'd be a really cool exhibition event. But making it decide your last point, I guess I'm not really a big fan of it.
Well, I think it's better than the shootout by any measure.
Yeah.
Because you actually have to, pass and play defense and stuff, but it opens up the ice to improve the probability of a goal being scored.
I still think that shootout with back checkers is the way to go, but
that wouldn't be so bad either.
That's just me.
Maybe that'll be the next thing after we get tired of this in 10 years.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to get tired of this because your average hockey group absolutely loves 3-on-3.
Well, they loved the shootout at first, too, and I think that kind of fell out of favor when they realized they weren't actually getting new fans over this.
Yeah, I will say, though, it is very exciting to watch.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to enjoy it for a while, and And, maybe in 10 years it'll go the same way the shootout has. But I'm on Team Ty, and that ship has obviously sailed, so.
Yeah, that's never happening. Nor should it.
It's too bad. So after a day off, they go from LA to Anaheim and play a Sunday evening game. And Anaheim got on the board right away with a Cam Fowler goal. Niederreiter made a great effort to tie it up, though. Shortly after.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. But after that would be the end of the good news for the Wild. Rackle gets another goal in the first, and then Santorelli and Lindholm add 2 in the third. And the Wild dropped this one 4-1. But honestly, this may have been the Wild's best effort all year, in my opinion, at least offensively.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Offensively, you are correct. It definitely was their best effort. I mean, short of the third period against the Avalanche.
Yeah.
Obviously. But defensively, again, another just poor game played. Every time the Kings had offensive zone pressure, we were screening our own goaltender.
Yeah.
Dubnyk played a spectacular game and ended up losing 4-1.
Even at that, though, I definitely think they weren't as inept as the Ducks in their own end. They were coughing up pucks left and right, and they were trying to help Minnesota get back in this game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're going to go that way, then the offense wasn't really that great because.
Well, that's a good point. If
they didn't capitalize on anything. It was post. So, circa January of I guess this year still. It just
yeah.
The defense. I mean, every single one of the goals that was scored against Dubnyk, which was 3. Was a goal that was scored by one of our players screening Dubnyk. The first one went off Coyle's stick.
Yeah.
And the second one was Spurgeon was trying to push up. I don't know what his thought process was here, but he was pushing one of the Ducks not into the crease, basically. And it went off the guy's knee and in.
Yeah. Well, some of those are just bad bounces more than they are bad defense, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, still, you don't push. The goaltender in me hates that. Don't get in my line of sight.
Yes.
just don't do it.
That's right. You got the shooter.
So, that's very frustrating. I mean, Dubnyk again was not very solid either. I mean, he actually played a great game, but. Even on the saves that he did make, it seemed more lucky than not. His reactions just weren't there. At least not like the normal Dubnyk that I'm used to seeing, where he's just all over it. He senses the puck and he senses the movement. He's kind of sluggish. His reactions weren't there. He wasn't pushing off like he normally does. He was out of position. He wasn't playing out far enough. Even those deflections, if he had come out of the crease a little bit, he could have got a piece of those and knocked them wide. But he was just playing deep in his net. And I don't know if his confidence is getting shaky or what, but even for playing the way he did, he played spectacular, which is good news for us, because when he gets his confidence back and he starts getting deep or getting outside of that net again, we're gonna be great. So
I do want to give some credit to Anton Dobin. He played a very good game, of course, former Wild, by way of Boston and Carolina before landing in Anaheim. I thought he played a spectacular game. He looked a lot like, some of his first starts in Minnesota.
Absolutely. Actually, I like Anton Hudobin.
I do too. I think he hasn't had his chance to take the reins yet, but who knows?
Before we had Dubnyk and Kemper was struggling, I actually traded for him on NHL 15.
Oh.
Let's bring Hudobin back.
Bring him back.
So
sounds good. So again, it's 3 points from 3 games for the Wild, 3 points for 3 games for the Wild. 7 from 5 for the season. This puts them in okay shape in the standings. They're technically 5th place at the moment in the Central, but they have games in hand on both St. Louis and Winnipeg. St. Louis has 10 from 6, so they're off to a good start. Only the one blemish in St. Paul for them so far.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it shakes out. I mean, I fully expect them to turn this around. I never in a million years expected defense to be our issue this year, and it seems to be every game an issue. So
We didn't really do predictions, but I really did expect Minnesota to take that step and be a top 2 team in the Central this year.
And, that could still happen. We're still really early.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I still fully expect Columbus to make the playoffs.
77 of these things to go. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
I fully expect Richards to not have a job by the time they get here.
Well, we'll see.
But I've been wrong on this before. But he's one Bobrovsky season away from the unemployment line 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's surprised. I guess I'm not that surprised that they're struggling, but they play in an awful division, so there's time.
Yeah, I fully expect them to make the playoffs.
I mean, I'll just put it this way: 7 points leads the Metro right now with the Isles and the Rangers, and it's only good for 5th in the Central.
Well, there's no division like us, like ours.
That would be good for 3rd in the Pacific and 3rd in the Atlantic. 7 points. So don't panic. But, I mean, I'm with you. They're lucky to have them, considering just the mind-bogglingly bad stretches we've seen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we should go ahead and talk about our 3 stars for the week.
Absolutely.
He scores!
You want stars?
You believe in miracles? Yes!
We got stars.
And the Wild are a Dubnyk save away from a shootout win.
State of Hockey's 3 stars of the week.
Save Dubnyk! And the Wild win it in the shootout!
Okay. So, our 3rd star this week, we went with Jason Zucker. He had the 1 assist on the Koivu Shorty, which was a brilliant hustle play. And he's also plus 42 in the Corsi right now, which leads the Wild, and is 7th overall in the NHL. So he's definitely making himself known as an offensive force, even if he only has the 1 point this week.
Yeah, he should definitely have more than that.
Mm-hmm.
He was hustling out there just as much as Parisi was,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, really, looking ahead a little bit, this guy, we have to sign this guy to a long-term deal.
I agree. I think he's got the upside. He's got to stay. I love watching his speed. I know a lot of people were ready to sell him out the river before last season, but I think he's starting to get it, and I don't question his effort. I love his hustle. He's gonna create chances. He could be in for a special season, even though he only has the 1 point this week. I like his upside.
Absolutely, and on top of that, he's become a defensive forward.
Yes, and a penalty kill weapon.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although I remember I went to the first weekend of the Iowa Wild 2 years ago, and I saw Jason Zucker score a shorthanded goal. And then he also got kicked out of a game that weekend, too, I remember, because he threw a high elbow. But that's neither here nor there. But, I mean, he needed some time to get ready, and I think he's at NHL speed right now, and I think he's going to have a long, good road.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's Zucker number 3. We got Zach Parise in at number 2. He had a goal and 2 assists this week, and we could probably put Zach in the top 3 pretty much every week, and I imagine we have.
Yeah, I think hasn't been many weeks without him there, other than when he was hurt last year.
I don't get tired of saying this, but he's the one guy whose effort you just never question.
No.
And Zucker's probably the 2nd person on that list now. I mean, that's just a testament to how far he's come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think our 1st star's up there as well.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yes, so we'll talk about our 1st star, and this is a guy that's very controversial, doesn't always get a lot of love in the Twitter sphere, but I love this guy, and it's Mikko Koivu. A power play goal, and a shorthanded goal, and an assist this week, and I think he's starting to get into being a little more willing to shoot when he's in good spots, and that's what they really need him to do.
And I actually called this, I think, in our first podcast of the preseason anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him twice in one game hammer a shot from the point on the power play. And I thought, oh my God, Koivu actually is finally realizing what he needs to do.
Yes.
And there's no turning back. I mean, the guy's got 2 goals on special teams this week.
Yeah. And, yep, so that's our 3 stars. I don't really have much for honorable mentions. I'll give Nino some love for the goal on Sunday, though. That was and that seems to be Nino's kind of MO lately, is just straight out muscling someone and just getting his stick on the puck at the last minute and sticking it in the net. So yeah,
he did that a few times in the preseason too.
So I think this he's getting it too. I think he's gonna need to be part of the long-term plan as well.
I think he's got 2 more years left.
I believe so. And the blue line struggled a bit this week, but I will say I am liking that Suter seems like he's at least trying to use his offensive end of his game, which he pretty much abandoned last year. I mean, I'm seeing him try and get to the middle and take more shots when they're there.
Yeah, actually, I'm not, and I kind of got on Suter pretty hard at the end of last year.
Yeah.
I don't see an effort issue from him. I don't see a play issue from him right now. Right now, Scandella, Brodin, and Spurgeon all have played awful. Folan looks like a mini-mite out there playing.
Yeah.
I mean, every time he got the puck and someone was within 5 feet of him, he'd dump it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're a professional hockey player. You're in the NHL.
Don't be so
Learn
tempted.
what to do with the puck under pressure.
Yeah. So, I did like that I did see Brodin start to throw his body a bit on Sunday as well, but overall, not a great week for the blue line, and hopefully they tighten up.
Yeah, and I guess I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum with you. When guys that don't normally throw the body around start throwing the body around, it's usually because they're having trouble with other parts of their game. You know, Setaguchi did it.
Yeah.
Clutterbuck did it. So it kind of worries me when people, I mean, even Heatley at the end of his stint here started to throw the body around, and that's just kind of a sign that they don't know where the rest of their game is.
That's a fair way to do it, but I mean, I guess since I have the more offensive mentality from my playing experience, it's hard when defensemen get tough with you and want to move you out of where you want to be. And I
know. As a defensive player, that was my goal.
Yeah. So
I guess I'd just rather see, throwing the body around is really more of a forward type thing to do. The defenseman should concentrate on positioning and, keeping the lanes open and making sure that we're not, our goaltender's not being screened, and making sure that they're not screening our goaltender. None of that stuff happened at all with those 3 defensemen.
Yeah. So, well, either way, let's hope the blue line steps it up coming into their next stretch here. But one more time, we went to Zucker 3, Zach Parise 2, and Koivu 1. That was your 3 stars of the week. So we looked at the standings. I guess let's look at what's coming up. So, another weird schedule week, because they're off until Thursday. Oh, I guess that's when the Blue Jackets come. Boy, where did this month go? It's the 22nd on Thursday.
Yeah.
My goodness. So they got another 3 and 4 this weekend. They're home Thursday and Saturday to Columbus and Anaheim. And then they have one off Sunday at Winnipeg before coming back home the week after that. So Blue Jackets are still at 0 points. Can't do anything right. I really hope this is a game Minnesota can win at home.
Well, we've given up 2 other teams their first win of the year, so why not? Why not? I am going to go no points in that game.
Wow. Really, though. I'm going for an easy 2 here.
Wait, we're at home?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, I'm going with the easy 2. You're right.
Yeah. I hope. Maybe Columbus sneaks one out of the deal. I don't know, but yeah. And then I think I'll go 1 on the Ducks on Saturday. I really think the Wild played a good game on Sunday. They just need, if they solve the blue line, that's a game they would win. And I think that being fresh in their minds, maybe they but Anaheim's really held over the Wild in the last couple of years. So
Yeah, they've really kicked our proverbial butts. That's a game I'm going to.
Oh yeah.
I really hope that you're wrong and that we pull 2 points out of that game.
Okay, so I'm gonna go 1, you're gonna go 2, and then Wild at the Jets. Jets are off to a decent start.
The Jets are my pick actually to be very good in this division, like top 3.
Yeah, I don't trust their goaltending.
I think I actually sent out my predictions for the Central. I've got Wild 1, Blues 2, Jets 3.
Wow. So the Jets have 8 from 6 right now. So, yep. So they play. So the Wild at Winnipeg. Wild have managed to get some success at Winnipeg, but this one probably feels like a 0 to me. After on second night of a 2-2, having to go on the road.
In Winnipeg, yeah. I mean, I could see maybe a point because every game against the Jets is a 1-point game.
Yeah.
And when I say 1 point, I mean differential.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see us squeaking out maybe into overtime. But yeah, I'm with you on this one. Okay. I'm gonna actually go with 0 because I got 4 already.
Okay, so you're gonna go with predicting 4. I think I'm gonna land on 4 as well. I think I'm going for a 0 too. I think we did the same picks.
I think you underestimate Dustin Byfuglien though.
Maybe.
People don't like that guy, but I love that guy.
I like that guy.
I love Dustin Byfuglien.
I don't like his team that much though.
He's just the right kind of dirty.
He's definitely on the other side of the line where I'm like, where I get my hate machine cranking.
That's and I guess if a player's just going to do nothing but be dirty, I'm with you on that. Like Ott, but
you like Ott.
Byfuglien can put points on the board, man.
Yeah, I definitely have more respect for players that can do that because at least they're playing the game occasionally, and more than occasionally in Byfuglien's case, it's he plays hockey. He's
one of their top 2 forwards.
Yeah, he just drifts into that sketchy territory once in a while. He's not a player where the sketchy territory is the only place he exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, got one listener tweet. This is from Barry Campbell at BJV Campbell, talking about the Anaheim game. He was replying to me saying, I thought Anaheim was very lucky on a couple goals on Sunday, and he said, I feel exactly the same way. I'm happy we found our legs in game after the LA debacle.
I think all 3 goals were lucky.
Yeah.
All 3 goals were on our defense.
Yeah.
Not on Dubnyk at all. But
I would agree with that.
There was also 3 goals that should have went in that Dubnyk saved, and I mean the defense has got to step up. It's bottom line. If the defense can't find their legs, if the defense can't step up and play like they did last year, it's all over.
I agree. Maybe Riley's going to get his chance soon if that doesn't turn around. He sounds like he's been the bright spot in Des Moines.
Yeah.
So far this year.
I like Christian Folin, I really do.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to take that I-35 trip back.
Might happen. He's your pick right now, huh?
Porter has had awful games as well.
Yeah.
I'm not really impressed by him either, but we can't really send him down without putting him on waivers.
Yeah, I understand that.
So actually, can we even put Folin down without putting him on the waivers?
I'm not sure. I think
we just signed him.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's hit the threshold. But I guess I can look that up and get that on the show post after we're done here. So.
But yeah, either way, Porter or Folin. I'd take Folin just because he could use the seasoning.
Yeah.
And there is an upside to that guy. Porter's more of a wily veteran that, he'll probably find his stride here with the team. He's getting used to the new team and the chemistry, and, we'll see if that works. But otherwise, I think Porter's more of if he's not working out, cut him.
Yeah. And the Wild claimed him from waivers, so he very easily could have cleared before the season. Yeah, they went for him instead of Brodziak or Stewart, who signed relatively low on other teams.
Or Cullen. So,
I mean, I guess it's okay if the only thing you're complaining about is your fourth line. It's probably a pretty good sign. But blue line's got some issues too, so hopefully they work that out. I know they have better games in them. I mean, I want to be encouraging. They just didn't show their best this weekend, and hopefully that will change this next week.
absolutely. And, I will give a little love to Eric Haula, too. He has kind of stepped into that Brodziak role as a great defensive forward.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah,
seems to be working out pretty well.
This is probably his do or die season. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I actually I'm liking the fact that he's not scoring a lot of goals.
Mm-hmm.
More because I think he's capable of it, and if he doesn't score a lot of goals this year, we might actually be able to pick him up for like a mil 2 a year.
Yeah, thinking a step ahead.
So
we'll see what happens. I guess we'll call that a show. I guess I want to bring up a programming note. Joe and I are are going to go on a hiatus with the podcast. We just both have a lot of other stuff going on, so it's no longer going to be a regular feature of the blog, but we will do it on occasion if things strike. Otherwise, I think we're both going to go back to just writing things for a while. So I do want to thank those of you that were listening to us, though, and it was very nice, those that interacted with us and kept saying all kinds of nice things about the show and working with us, but it's just getting a little time burden, so I don't want to sound too whiny about it. I want to be very grateful that we did this for as long as we did, but I think that's gonna be it for the time being, and if the mood strikes, maybe we'll bring it back, but for now I think we both need to put this on the shelf for a bit.
yeah, I think we both got some stuff going on in our lives that's just going to keep us away from this for a while, and I think both of us like doing it and would like to eventually come back to it. It just seems to kind of get in the way of more important things in our lives at the moment.
And that's what's important to me about sports too. Is it's something you should watch and you should enjoy, but it's not something that should dominate your life. There are so many more important things in the world, and maybe it's just me as a new father speaking.
Yeah, I mean, for me, hockey still dominates my life. I mean,
yeah, but now
what's getting in my way is, being on a board and in a youth hockey association and coaching.
I would wish that out my enemies. Being on a youth hockey board.
Yeah.
But they must like you, and it sounds like you're starting to get to coach your kids, and I know that's going to be very time consuming as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's about 4 or 5 hours a week on that, and then another 3 or 4 on the board, and that's not to mention that I'll be going to Wild games here pretty soon, and that'll be another 7-8 hours a week. So,
oh, cool. So, thank you for those of us who are who stuck with us, and I'm sorry to those of you that may miss us, but we're still going to try and tweet about games when we're watching, and I might go back to starting to actually write pieces again, but the podcast experiment, I think, is going on the shelf for now. So I guess we'll just wrap it up there. So thank you for listening, everyone. For Joe Hayford, I'm Justin Jelnick. Have a great evening.
Thanks for listening to the State of the Hockey podcast. The music was created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/Deeb.